All right, a road win in the Big Ten can never be minimized, and Nebraska got that done, and that's been a difficult thing for Scott Frost during his tenure in Lincoln, but they get it done against Purdue today, 37-27. Got Greg Peterson on the line here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. You can join Greg and the rest of the staff there at Rivals Husker Online covering Nebraska athletics. Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Doing great. How about you, Mark?
I'm good. 37-27 final. And the first thing that pops out to me, I looked at, I watched the first few, I'm going to put them in quotes, drives of the game, because it was a 1-yard drive and then it was like a 17-yard drive. And the other drive was, they had, anytime you get the job done on special teams, especially early in the game to set the tone, that usually bodes well. And of course, Lewis Falk had the blocked kick. Bam, touchdown. They get a nice punt return, tacked on with a penalty that led to another score. And just all around early in the game, they just jumped on Purdue with big plays defensively and in special teams.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head right there. Starting off the game, first 5 minutes, and you're up 14-0, kind of makes the rest of the day fun to play. So, and I think you saw that, Nebraska came out of the gate. They came to play today, and I think that was the nice thing to see, getting off to that kind of a start. The defense, gets them off, gets early. They get a sack from Ben Stilley and get off the field, and a blocked punt, boom, they're on the 1-yard line, and it's nice to see Adrian Mills come back. And he played a big part in the game today. And next possession, you get a Garrett Nelson sack and a big punt return from Cam Taylor-Britt and a penalty tacked onto that. And one of the most beautiful runs you'll ever see from Adrian Martinez, about a 15-yard touchdown run, and he broke all kinds of tackles, just an athletic as heck of a play. And, they got off rolling. And, defense gets 3 sacks in the first quarter, and all of a sudden Nebraska has a pass rush and makes a big difference in the world. Purdue, all of a sudden Purdue doesn't know what's going on, and they're in a hole. They're down 17-0 before they kind of woke up. And it was nice to see Nebraska hold on to that lead and to see them play with some fire and actually play almost a complete game. Very few of those mistakes that have killed them in the past, and the ones that they did make, they were able to overcome. So all in all, a big day for Nebraska, and a big momentum change, going forward.
Yeah, Greg, you mentioned the rushing attack, because we've talked about this the last few weeks, in which Wan'Dale Robinson has been heavily leaned on, more so than what we expected. Adrian Mills, not so much, and banged up and so forth. And then he comes back to go 16 for 60 with a touchdown, where Wan'Dale Robinson becomes more the pass receiver that we anticipated. 9 catches for $114 through the air.
Well, yeah, and that's what bringing Mills back into the fold gives you. All of a sudden, you see that balance come out of the offense. This is the first time we've seen actually somebody other than a quarterback being Nebraska's leading rusher for the game. Adrian Mills, like you said, he carried the ball 16 times for 62 yards, and Adrian Martinez 13 times for 59 yards. So there you go. And in turn, that opens up all those passing lanes. And, what were we saying a couple of weeks ago after that Illinois loss is get Wan'Dale Robinson the ball. The last 2 weeks, 20 targets, 18 catches for Wan'Dale Robinson. And you saw that today with those 9 grabs that he had today off of 10 targets. Those are all big. 5 of those catches are on third down. They didn't convert all of those, but those are all big plays. His longest was a 25-yard catch and run, which was beautiful. And, getting him the ball in those kind of situations keeps that defense off guard, opens things up. You saw Xavier Betts. He gets 5 receptions for 35 yards. You see Levi Falk. He gets 5 catches for another 39 yards. So now you're starting to see Nebraska being able to distribute the ball around a little bit once you get that balance going with your running attack. You don't have to rush for a ton of yards, but you just have to make that defense have to play you both with the run and the pass, and you see Nebraska have success doing that. And again, Wan'Dale Robinson, all those catches that he had, he's making 8 or 9 yards on all of those catches. So it's hard to stop Nebraska. You can see they marched the ball up and down the field all day long against that Purdue defense. And, they converted a lot of those red zones, and they came through the kicking game. The special teams played well today. So all in all, like I said, it was an all-around great job today by a team as a whole. My
apologies to Levi Falk. I think I mispronounced his name. My chicken scratch didn't come through too well, but I got him right here with the big punt block right out of the gate. Yep. And he contributed on offense, as you mentioned, as well, with 5 catches. So when you look at the stat sheet, and then obviously it means so much more watching the game, and I only saw some of it, but we'll watch it later. But we were only talking just a couple weeks about how this offense needed something different, and people were criticizing Adrian Martinez, and we need to go to Luke McCaffrey, and he obviously showed his limitations in the passing game as a passer, where Martinez isn't a great passer, but he's a good enough collegiate passer. I don't think there's any question about that. And with his mobility, this is what you want to see out of your offense. Like, their rushing attack wasn't like super explosive effective, but they stayed with it. It was consistent. They ran it 40 times. Again, they're not ripping off huge chunks of yardage, but it was consistent, and they can keep the defense honest that way. When you got a running quarterback who can also throw for 23 for 30 for 242, and then you got a hammer there in the backfield like Dedrick Mills, and you just have all the components that are supposed to work and complement each other.
Yeah, exactly. And, you've seen Adrian Martinez now, since being benched and handling it like a trooper, you've seen him completely turn things around and take control of this offense. And you're seeing the Adrian Martinez you kind of expected to see last year. And, throwing the ball, that was a very efficient day for him. His accuracy has just improved week by week. His decision-making has been tremendous. You saw him today. They had a third and it was a 3rd and long or 3rd and medium down in the red zone. And, he had to scramble. And he looked around, and he didn't force things, and he threw it away. And, they kicked the field goal and moved on to the next drive. And, a few weeks ago, you probably would have seen him force that in there, and a turnover might have happened, and they don't even get the 3 points. So, yeah, Adrian, he's becoming the guy that you're expecting out of him. And, when he has the help that he has with, you have that Russian attack that keeps the defense honest, then all of a sudden Scott Frost's offense starts clicking. And you definitely saw that today. And, like Coach Frost said, the only 2 things that this team lacks is experience and confidence. And you're seeing these young guys that had to build a lot of confidence today. And, you got your experience going today. So, in my opinion, I think you're seeing a culture shift that started today. You saw a team go out there and believe in themselves, and now they have something to play for. A lot of those national media guys had been questioning on, does Nebraska have any reason to even go out and play? Well, now they do, because you have 100 guys now with a goal. If you go out and you get lucky enough to play next week, because we don't know in these days if you can even have a game next week. With Minnesota having all kinds of COVID issues, but you right now you go out and you play a game, and if you beat Minnesota, a good physical Minnesota team that came in here and whooped Nebraska last year, you're telling me that team doesn't have anything to play for? If you beat Minnesota and you have one more game in that crossover game and you end up 4-4, you go to a bowl game. So this team right now, they have everything to look forward to at this point. So today was just a huge, huge win for this football program moving forward, not just this year, but into next year.
those two tremendous Purdue receivers, they got their numbers as expected. David Bell, 10 for 132 and a touchdown. Rondale Moore, 13 for 78, but you kept it under control besides the 89-yarder. Yeah. Because if you take that away, which of course you can, it's an 89-yarder, but still, if you look at David Bell's productivity other than that, 9 catches for 43. It's not much of anything per catch. And you keep Purdue one-dimensional. They have to throw it 47 times. They don't have much of a rushing attack against anybody. But, man, when you clamp them down to -2, and, of course, that includes sacks, but still, basically, they didn't run for anything. That's a tremendous defensive effort.
And that was all that David Bell was in the second half.
Playing catch-up.
Going into halftime, he had 1 catch. I think he might have caught another one right there towards the end of the first half. But Nebraska's secondary played unbelievable today. DiCaprio Boodle locked down Rondale Moore, kept everything in front of them. Rondale always get the Wandale thing they're going when we talk about Nebraska and Purdue, but he kept Rondale Moore in front of him all day long. You never saw Rondale break out, and when he did catch the ball, you had Nebraska. He had those white jerseys just flying in there, gang tackling him, not letting him get away. Cam Taylor-Britt, my God, he came up with some huge pass breakups. That guy played unbelievable. The one mistake that was made when David Bell got that 89-yard catch, that was Markel Dismuke coming in to make an interception, and he took Cam Taylor-Britt out of that play. So it was kind of Markel Dismuke, and I've seen him do many, many times that same thing where he just goes and hits the guy, and you get a beautiful play out of it. But he decided to go for the pick that time instead of going for the hit. Otherwise, that play doesn't happen, and it's a different ball game. But you see Nebraska get out with that lead. That defense played unbelievable, and you got different guys stepping up week in and week out. Last week you had Luke Reimer with 11 solo tackles. Today you've got JoJo Doman doing the same thing. Luke Reimer again comes in and makes a big tackle for a loss. He's got 5 tackles for losses in 5 games in a row. I mean, a tackle for loss in 5 games in a row. And this is a young kid with a lot of talent. You saw that defensive line step up. Garrett Nelson, Ben Stilley playing amazing. And I love Damian Daniels in there, eating up space in the middle. Purdue couldn't run. They couldn't run anything. Nebraska's line was just eating them alive. So, yes, there are a lot of things to look to be happy about with this defense today. And, Coach Sinander, now he's got more trust in these guys. These guys got more confidence. Now you can go into Minnesota next week and you can do some more things now that you have some more confidence in these guys. Open the playbook up a little bit more. So, I'm loving what this defense is doing, and I can't wait to see what they have next week.
Yeah, Deontay Williams with 12 total tackles, 10 of those solo. JoJo Doman, as you mentioned, with 11 total tackles, 8 solos, and Ben Stilley and Garrett Nelson split 3 sacks, 9 tackles for loss for the entire group. Excellent defensive effort for, again, Purdue's. Most of their yardage was in catch-up mode as they got to 37-27. They had the one drive that could have made it really interesting where they got close to the red zone, but they got turned over on downs with about 2 and change left. That might have made it really interesting, but Nebraska's defense was up to the challenge. Good stuff there.
2 big 4th down stops that defense came up with today. They did one at the end of the first half, too, that unfortunately the offense sputtered and Purdue got a field goal out of it anyway right before halftime. But, yeah, that defense, they're fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what they do next week, like I said. But great game from the Huskers today.
The last time Minnesota was on the field, they pulled out a last-second win against Purdue. Pass interference call against the Boilers late that cost them a win. So hopefully the Gophers can get back on the field against Nebraska. Would love to see those 2 teams tackle and see what happens next week. We got a Nebraska show that we do with Greg each and every Thursday night. Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, Nebraska Live. We want your comments, your questions, your debate topics. We bring you in. We bring your questions and post them right on the screen. And Greg and others tackle them. So please, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, Nebraska Live. Again, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. Greg, Good win. Appreciate you stopping by to break it down for us.
Sounds good. We'll see you on Thursday.